All right, here we go. Another episode of Kanata on the Rocks. I am your host, Fadi Kuder, local realtor with Sun Group Ottawa. And today we have one of my really good friends, Ahmed Farghal, the Director of Quality Assurance, Regulatory Affairs, and Compliance. And for you guys, like obviously you've been using the product out in the clinical studies and now it's in sales and what have you. And like there's a lot of, you got a lot of surgeons that are using it today. So you definitely have a little bit of quality assurance. Let's talk a little bit more about that. What does that look like for you guys, the quality assurance? What does that mean?
So medical devices have a quality standard that every medical device company has to comply with. And that standard basically deals with how the company makes the product, how the company deals with customer requirements, how the company deals with any kind of corrective actions on product issues, how the company basically looks at how it's performing in terms of process and product. And this is really the quality assurance side of it. Companies have to have procedures for everything. It's not just that you make a product willy-nilly, right? And the quality side ensures that you have the right process to make the right product that the customer wants, because you can make a product that's not what the customer was actually looking for.
Yeah.
So it ensures a good understanding of what the requirements of the customer is before you go ahead and make the product, and ensures that it's done in a consistent manner that gives you the same outputs every time.
And it sounds like, at the end of the day, like any sort of software company, there's always that sort of release, like that every couple of months, whatever, there's a new release, new iteration. How is that process for you guys as far as like when you're releasing? Is it, again, is it going out into a sandbox, testing, quality assurance, and then release, or like how does that work?
So do agile software development, which is, like you said, various iterations on the product. So we gather customer requirements. They give us feedback on what they would like to see in the product. We gather all that data, and then we have a roadmap of what we'd like to develop and the features that we want to put into the product. We then go through various development cycles. Not every development cycle results in a release. And then once we have a product that has, we've compiled, I guess, all the features that we want to release in the next version, we do a lot of rigorous testing in terms of actual just software tests internally. We put the products in the hands of some trusted clinicians that we work with and representative users. They test the product and they confirm that, yes, this is exactly what we were looking for and this is what we wanted to see. And then once that's done, we gather all that data and then we're able to release the product for the general public.
Yeah. It's always interesting. Like, I've worked in software before myself, and it's always interesting that software release date, right? Like everybody's sort of holding their breath, making sure that it's, okay, well, we don't know if it's going to be good or it's going to be clunky or this and that. And I like the fact that you guys using the agile method that just helps you kind of, again, there's a name, the reason why it's called agile is because it's very effective, very easy to kind of adapt. It's agile versus rainfall. I'm not really sure why would anyone use that, but that's just, again, that's my opinion when it comes to software releases. How did you find the public after you release software? What does that look like for you guys as far as like quality assurance? Are you getting a lot of sort of feedback on it? What does that look like?
So generally with any new version of a software, there's going to be certain things that are going to be a little buggy or clunky, right? Nothing that really impacts the functionality of the product, but generally, the general case is when you release a new version of the software, you're going to get a bunch of feedback and complaints from customers that, little things are not working perfectly and whatnot. We have very strong customer support, and that's also part of ensuring the quality of the product is hearing what the customer has to say and hearing their complaints and feedback and addressing them in a timely manner. So a lot of times you will get some complaints about the product not working, and this is quite normal. You either are able to address it in terms of some workaround that allows them to, get their work done. If it's a critical issue, then it's all hands on deck, and we fix it, and we patch it, and we release.
And that's the thing too. Like I used to remember those moments, right? Like, it's completely different if you're on the account executive side or on the account management side, right? Account executives, you're hunters, you're out there. You're really just setting the expectations on what to come. So it's not much at that point. You're really just talking to brand new clients. There's not much really to kind of worry about when it comes to the last release was a little bit buggy or any of that. It's the account management that's always taking the brunt of it, right? Like they're just having to deal with that for a week or two until things kind of settle down. And it would take a ton of patience to be able to do that as well too. Like patience, compassion, like be a little bit more compassionate with the client as well too. Because at the end of the day, they trusted you in a certain product that you put out there, and a few bugs, but we get it resolved, and we kind of move on. What's your next level for you guys in order to be able to, bring it into Canada and be able to like completely go out there? Is there a certain threshold that you want to hit in terms of sales, in terms of market value, market share?
You obviously want to make sure that the product is wanted by your customers, right? So our product is available in Canada, but it's used for research only. And there's been a great appetite for the product, at least from a research perspective. And, we go out to roadshows and conferences and whatnot, and there are a lot of Canadian physicians that will be there and they've tested the product and they want to have it in their hands and be able to actually put it to use. But then what really matters when it comes to releasing the product in Canada is complying with Health Canada regulations.
Yeah, it's the same as like in the States, right? It's got to be like an FDA approved or whatever that, whatever that sort of, I want to say kind of like the equivalent here in Canada. It's the same thing. But the appetite is there. That's what you're finding.
Oh yeah, the appetite is there all over the world actually, because the product is, we're not the only VR kind of viewer, I guess, or VR platform for medical imaging.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, we're the slickest. So the appetite is definitely there, and everybody really is impressed with the product so far. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback, and people want to have it in their hands, right? It's really just a matter of making sure that it's released to people in a compliant manner.
Oh, it's fantastic. It sounds like you guys kind of got like a good handle on what the product looks like and how, the clients that have been using it, and then the way that you're releasing it is very methodical. I like that, which is very, very important, especially when it comes to healthcare, right? Like,
Has to be.
it has to be very methodical. It has to be thought of. You have to have a plan in action to kind of go from there. Tell me a little bit more about the road shows.
So there's a number of conferences that happen, around medical imaging and medical imaging technology. We're always there. We always have a booth. Our sales guys are always there, and they always do an excellent job of demoing the product for people.
It used to be like the biggest high that I get going out of the office back when I was doing software.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely exciting, and they get a lot of great comments when people actually try the product, because the product is actually really cool. It's more than just a viewer, right? You can do so much with the images. You are able to take measurements. You're able to put voice notes and text notes that you can refer to while you're doing surgery. You're able to collaborate with other physicians as well. So you can have two people in a session, discussing what the plan is going to be for the surgery. So there's a lot of value there, and people love it. They really, really like it.
Yeah. So like picture this here for 30 seconds. Like we're both putting the headsets on. I'm looking, I'm going, what is this thing? Turn around.
Yep.
And then you're telling me this, oh yeah, no, there's something there. No, just flip it over. Let's see what's.
Exactly.
That sounds like really, really cool, because like then again, with collaboration, especially when you have like a couple of surgeons or a surgeon and a couple of nurses or whatever, like they're trying to get this surgery planned properly. They're going in, they already have the plan of attack of how they're going to actually lay this out.
Exactly. And you can always get the advice of specialists as well. We don't have to be in the same geography to collaborate.
No, why would you? It's a software. It can be.
Yeah.
It can be online. It can be in a cloud somewhere, as long as it's
exactly.
compliant and safe, and we've got all the measures to not release any sort of medical information out there. Tell me a little bit more about I love it. I just like I'm really excited to like hear a little bit more about it, because it's so cool, like to be able to just have a plan, right? Like, what does that look like when it comes to the surgeon as far as timing and like how is that like? Do you guys find any sort of time savings, any cost savings in terms of surgeries and all of that?
Of course. So first of all, if you're using the current available technology, or the most currently available technology, which is 3D printing, there's obviously the cost saving in terms of the actual 3D prints. It costs money. In terms of time, you don't have to wait until the 3D print's done. Depending on who you're collaborating with, you might have to have models being sent around for people to take a look at, right? So it definitely saves time. It saves cost. It reduces the planning time significantly as well, because you're basically just get a medical image. It's a computer file. Software does its thing, and there you have it. You put on the headset, and you're off to the races.
It makes total sense because then you don't, like I said, you don't have to wait for the 3D printing and all of that, and then the collaboration, being able to collaborate and not having that same person within the same room, right? Like I'm not gonna book for example, let's just say I've got a brain surgeon coming in to do this, and then I've got flying in, for example, and then I have a bunch of nurses that are here doing that. We could easily just have them all in one room. We don't have to wait until the next planning session in a couple of months and the patient is waiting.
Yep.
When it could be for example, somebody's waiting for a cancer surgery or something like that.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. For you guys to be able to, get more out there, more mainstream, what does that entail? What does that look like?
It means going to more roadshows, making people try the product. The hands-on demos are excellent because it just allows people to really see the power of the product and what it can do and what it can offer. It means that we're going to want to be able to get market authorization to sell in different parts of the world, and once, you have a big medical institution using the product, it just spreads like wildfire because when physicians see what the value is, they are obviously going to recommend it to others, right? You're a surgeon, you work in, a big hospital somewhere, you are using the product, you have another colleague that's not necessarily aware of the product, and you're like, hey, I'd like you to collaborate with me on this, and they bring them into one of the sessions in VR. Obviously that's going to help the product spread within the institution itself.
And do you guys, how is that layout as far as your salespeople? I'm sorry, I'm kind of a little bit more curious from a sales perspective because that's kind of my background, right? It's like just software sales for the longest time. How does that engagement look like, right, for you guys to go out to, let's say, I want to say Mr. Bob, the surgeon out in Oklahoma?
I mean, sales is not really my area of expertise, but there's multiple ways that they can reach out. They in the roadshows, they invite people to come and demo the product. They go visit the sites. They reach out by email. There's a lot of things that they do, and I'm not really a sales guy, so I don't really know what all the tools are in their arsenal, but they're able to reach clients in a very, very effective way. Our sales team is excellent, very, very cool guys. They do a great job.
The plan is for you guys is just obviously be in sort of every medical industry or every medical surgery for the future. As far as your competition, what does that look like?
There are other companies out there that have similar products that do similar things, but the nice thing about our product is, like I said, it's the slickest. It's it works with most of the commercially available headsets. The feature set within the product is very, very cool. We're gaining traction with a lot of other companies that we're partnering with. Like we got a partnership with Logitech earlier this year for their MX Ink, which is a pen that's used in VR applications. So imagine you have, the utility of a pen, which is something that everybody is very familiar with, that you can use in VR, to draw, to write notes and what have you.
Well, also to point and be like, oh, it's right here. It's just
Exactly.
turn around. Yeah, it's kind of in this section here.
But here's the cool thing, though. Our product supports hand tracking, so you can actually point with your hand in VR.
Very interesting. Look, man, I really appreciate you making the time for us. This is fantastic. It's one of the things about this show is we want to bring as many people as possible, as many businesses as possible to kind of shed some light on some of the cool brains that we have in the city, some of the fantastic businesses that we have in the city that can tell us all about what the city hosts and have. And also to you get the folks that are interested in coming to Ottawa to know exactly what they're coming into. Ottawa seems to be one of those really cool tech hubs.
True.
As well as a crazy amount of government workers. We've got almost I could bet on this, about 80% of households here in Ottawa, you knock on the door, there's somebody, at least one person that works for the federal government or the municipal government, what have you, or even Ontario because they have offices here. So really appreciate you making the time, and definitely going to be tracking your growth as a company, tracking you as a friend as well too, as always. So thank you so much, Ahmed, for being on the show. Love it. For folks that are watching, if you like what you see, please don't forget to hit the like button. Obviously, there's more and more episodes coming. We've been doing this now for a bit over a year, and we're not about to stop. This is going to be something that we're Definitely going to bring a ton of businesses here on the show. There's thousands and thousands of businesses in the city, and it's going to take me years and years and years to bring them all on board. If you know anybody in the city that has a good business, a good idea, love for you to kind of comment and let us know that we can bring them on the show. I will personally reach out to them and talk to them, bring them on the show. And for more episodes like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe and that little bell icon so you can get a little bit of an alert to know a little bit more about those episodes when they come in. Thanks again. Appreciate it.